Hey, what's up everyone? Hope you're all having a wonderful time. Here a quick guide on the Ignite Warpath Forge Guard in last Epoch. The Ignite Warpath Forge Guard is an experimental build that mainly focusing on dealing fast hits to build up huge stacks of Ignites on our enemies. And the build uses primarily Warpath as our main ability, but we're also using forged weapons to help us with some clear and also with our single target. We are using Sigils of Hope to boost our damage and our chance to ignite per active sigil, and this is great because it's not only boosting ourselves but also our allies, which in this case is going to be our forged weapons. We're using Ring of Shield for a short boost to damage and for some extra protection from projectiles. Volatile Reversal is used to recover our mana spent after we use Sigil of Hope or the Ring of Shield. We also get some great boost to damage by getting increased attack speed, and enemies will take increased damage over time taking for a short duration. We're using a lot of uniques for this build. Most of them has a very low effective level of legendary potential, and this meaning that it have a high chance of having more LP or legendary potential on those unique items. The build can get up to 45% less damage taken, which is really great for survivability, and for this build is also highly needed because it can be a struggle getting the health up for this build. We're also using Leech to sustain our health, which not only works from the hit, but we also get the Leech from our dots here, from the ignites as well. While we are mapping, we will also perma-freeze nearby normal and magic monsters by using the Epoch of Frozen Light Sword, and this works great for our protection while doing echoes. And then we can swap to a Eye of Re on bosses for some crazy boost to ignite chance. The main goal here was to utilize the forged weapons to make them deal most of the damage, so primarily this was going to be a minimum build, but after some testing we ended up with this, which is the opposite situation pretty much. Maybe it will be possible to make this thing work better in the future, but for now let's take a look on what we are using right now. For some pros, it got a pretty good map clear, it is a fast build overall, and we have a lot of uniques. Most are fairly common and are great for the legendary potential. For the cons, it can be very hard to get your defensive up, early on at least. Health is a big issue, and you will be struggling with your resist at the earlier stages of the game. So let's go over all the uniques, starting with Firestarter's Torch, which is our main weapon here. And here we have a chance to apply Spreading Flame on hit, which is a element similar to Ignite, but with a much higher base damage. We also get more fire damage to enemy affected by Spreading Flame. And to top it off, we got also some increased fire damage over time. And this weapon has the lowest effective level of legendary potential, meaning that it's very common to get this unique with more legendary potential on them. Epoch of Frozen Light have a great defensive modifier. When you hit an enemy with a melee attack, you expire a stack of Frozen Vengeance to grant all your minions Frenzy and 30% more damage to shield enemies for 8 seconds, and freeze up to 8 nearby enemies and magic enemies for 3 seconds. And when a minion die, you gain a stack of Frozen Vengeance, and this also works for our forged weapons when they are expiring, making us get a stack every 3 seconds pretty much. And we also get a chance for our minions to shield attackers when they are hit. Eye of Re is our second weapon of choice, and here we can get up to 200% chance to ignite on melee hit, which is pretty crazy for a one-handed weapon. We also get the chance to gain a stack of Rin's Ire for 5 seconds on melee crit, and this will grant us 5% melee critical strike multiplier and also 5% increased fire damage over time per stack. Bleeding Heart provides some melee attack speed from the base, but most important, we get a pretty decent portion of damage leech as health. And as it doesn't indicate a hit for the leech, we do get the health leech from all sources, even from our dots. Calamity got some increased fire damage and also chance to ignite on hit with fire skills. And also when we kill the enemy with a fire skill, we take 4 fire damage over next 2 seconds, but this is not a very big deal. Soulfire is a unique relic that provides a huge chance to ignite on hit, with some other great modifiers as 6% increased fire damage if you killed an enemy recently, and also 100% increased armor while ignited. Fiery Dragon Shoes works great for this build, both damage and defense. We get fire penetration with ignite, which is huge for this build. We get some fire damage, got some high movement speed, and also less bonus damage taken from critical strikes. And this makes it so we basically don't have to worry about critical strike avoidance. Burning Avarice for even more fire penetration with ignite. We also get elemental damage leech as health, increased leech rate, and also some elemental resistance. Sunwraith is a great ring for this build. We gain chance to ignite on melee hit, we get increased fire damage over time, and also to top it off with some flat melee fire damage. Wings of Argentus is a pretty rare body armor, but if you manage to get it to drop, it's a huge addition to this build. We get some increased melee fire damage here, chance to gain haste for 1 second on hit, 20% less damage taken while we are moving, and lastly, +2 to level of fiery melee skills. For the stats for this build, try to go for health, resist for the cap, increased melee attack speed, chance to ignite on hit, and also chance to bleed on hit works here as well. Increase fire and elemental damage, increase elemental damage over time and the normal damage over time, plus to all resist while we are channeling, and also increase minion health to help out with the sword's survivability. And for the class specific stats, try to go for increased fire damage and ignite duration, increased fire damage over time, and also plus to level of Warpath. For the idols, you want to go for 4 large idol with the chance to ignite on hit, and also increase fire damage over time, or flat health work here as well. We're also using a unique idol called Throne of Ambition, which will give us a stack of ambition when we hit a boss or rare enemy for every second. And this will grant us 2% more fire damage per stack of ambition, up to a total of 40% once we reach the max stacks, which is going to be 20. For the blessings, some of the more notable ones are going to be from the Black Sun, and here you can get the chance to ignite on hit, or you can also go for Void Resist if you are not still capped. From the timeline, Reign of Dragon makes us get a chance to bleed on hit, which will transform to ignite when we are using Warpath. More about that in a second. Here you can also get poison resistant if you are not still capped. And also a quick note here is that we don't really need a critical strike avoidance, because of the boost makes us take less damage from critical strikes, but here is usually where we get the huge portion of avoidance to get ourselves capped. Timeline Spirits of Fire provide a chance to shred fire resist on hit. And let's go over quickly the most important notes for the skills, starting with Warpath. So Warpath makes us spin around, dealing damage, striking nearby enemies as we move around. We're using Unchained, and we're also using Reckless Spin to reduce the channeling cost for the skill. Forge Martial Stance makes it while we are spinning around, we then summon our Forge weapons, which is our minions. And Moving Forge makes it so when we are spinning, we are summoning our Forge weapon more frequently. Quicksilver Wind for more movement speed. Earth Scorcher will make the base physical damage to fire, and also here we have all the chance to bleed will now also be ignite. And lastly, Arsenal of Flame for melee fire damage to ignite, and also some penetration with our ignites. Force Strike is another skill that we have here. We're not using the skill per se, but this is the only one that will alter the stats for the forged weapons. We're using Forged by Fire to add some fire damage to our weapons. Well-forged weapons for a maximum number of weapons and also the duration. We're using Light Forge for some more attack speed for our weapons. Heavy Strike for some increased damage, and Engines of War for forged weapons to deal damage in a larger area. Sigils of Hope will boost ourselves with some damage, and they will also boost our allies here as well, which is going to be our forged weapons. Empowering Sigil for a percentage damage boost. Last Wish, so we have a chance to summon a Sigil on kill for the quality of life. Decree of Flame for the flat fire damage per active Sigil. and Burning Sign here for the ignite chance per active sigil. Enduring Hope for a longer duration, and Tetragram for +1 to maximum sigils. We're using Ring of Shield for a small boost to fire damage, but we also have here so we can block some projectiles. Molten Shields will convert this skill to a fire skill, and we also have a small chance to ignite enemies when they are hitting the shields. Touched by Fire will make us deal some additional fire damage for a short duration, and Wretched in Flame will boost a increased melee fire damage for a short duration. Enduring Defense will make it so the rings last longer. Reinforcement will make us summon additional shields around us. And On the Path will make it so the shields will rotate faster around us, and also so they will take less damage when we are using Warpath. Volatile Reversal is used to recover our mana spent if we are using Sigils of Hope or the Ring of Shield. We also get some boosted damage while we are using this. Incipient Void Rift will make a Void Rift at the start of the location, and Terminal Void Rift will make a Void Rift at the spot where we are arriving. Traveler's Fatigue will make it so we get some cooldown recovery speed. Time Loss Vitality for even more recovery speed, but we can now no longer recover health. Warp Time for global attack speed, Catching Up for some increased movement speed, and Time Rift will make it so when the enemies are hit by a Void Rift, they will then take increased damage over time taken. And here a quick preview of the passive skill tree, but for more information about the build I do recommend to go and check out the last Epoch build planner. And both for the passive and the skill tree, you can simply use the progression bar at the bottom to easily see when and where to progress in the build. And to the left you can also get a basic loot filter on the build planner that will highlight all you need to get to both leveling and for the endgame. Link for this will be in the description. So what do you think about the Ignite Warpath Force Guard? Have you tried it out before or tried another version of it? Feel free to tell me in the comments below. Thanks for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe if you found this video helpful. And with that said, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!